What up, guys? I'm here with my buddy Chukwu. It's been another month, so how you been? Just gonna look back on April, basically, of 2022.
Yeah, April was a very interesting month. So work has been interesting because in the last podcast I admit that I lost my job. Although technically I've been working 2 jobs. So I lost my main job and then a side job that I had. I wasn't working.
It's your camera thing, right?
Yeah,
or
the photo booth.
The wedding
stuff.
thing?
Yeah, photo booth. Mainly for weddings, but also there's other events. Yeah, that job I was kind of basically on pause for it. So I kind of started going back to it. And so that was a very interesting experience.
So how's that going?
The first time I went back, it was easier because it was like I was with somebody else because it was an event where it involved 2 people.
And like you guys have to like set up the photo booth and essentially just take photos for people who request it?
Yeah, for the most part.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What was interesting about the most recent ones, like in April?
So again, because I still was suffering through well, now, before I thought it was acid reflux, but now I came to the conclusion that it's actually stomach ulcers. But that's the whole, I'll tell you that on a different tangent. Point is, because I was dealing with some uncomfortability with my stomach and chest, going back to it this time was sort of like, now I can't really eat certain foods. I have to be careful how I bend and walk and move and whatnot. So
basically the condition is still like as bad, or it hasn't really improved that much?
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll just say it's still a nuisance. What's this better way to say it? It's still a nuisance. So
yeah, sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. And it was more worse the second event, because the second event I can really, like, there was a point where because of the light, for whatever reason, the event didn't have enough light. I had to use my phone. But because I had to hold my phone a certain way, I could feel my chest. So my chest was like burning the whole time. And keep in mind, people are drunk, so they just want their picture. And they're like, can I take another picture? Can I take another picture? Can I take another picture? I'm just like, yes. While I'm like, my chest is hurting. I'm like, can we be done? Can we be done? So,
oh man.
Yeah.
If only you had like a monopod, that would have helped out.
Yeah.
Like a tripod.
Yeah. It was crazy. And usually that doesn't happen, but it just happened to be at an event where, because it got super dark, it affected the way that the photos were taking. So I had to use a light or something to make it work.
Well, and any happy events? I'm just kidding. It's equal weighting, right?
Yeah.
It's good stuff happens, bad stuff happens. That's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, genuine question. Any more positive stuff?
I would say the most positive thing that happened in April was, so one of my closest best friends, I went to watch the Sonic movie with her, and I was happy because I realized, because I wasn't sure I was able to eat sushi because of my whole condition, and I was able to eat sushi. So it was like I was able to enjoy
some good food,
as well as watch a movie with my friends. So it was fun. And
yeah, dude.
And
for
for those people who know how the Sonic movie ends, there's a certain character that, everyone was shouting for at the end. So it was kind of funny to see at the after credits where people were like, yeah, this character is in. So
yeah, I mean, I watched Sonic as well with OC. I mean, we already talked about it together.
Yeah.
So we don't need to talk about it here. If you guys want to check that out, I guess I'll link a video down below. But I actually recently watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen it yet or not?
No, I want to check it out though.
Yeah, I haven't seen OC's and Christine's and Crystal's review. They did a review, right?
Yeah, they did a review.
Yeah, I haven't seen their review, but I personally really enjoyed this movie, and I think you should check it out. Yeah,
definitely. I definitely will. I've been hearing.
I'm most curious to Christine's thoughts since she's also Asian, and then the rest of us. I mean, technically Crystal is too. So yeah. But I'll talk to them about it later. But it's a great movie. It started some interesting conversations with my friends. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool. Definitely, I definitely want to check that out for sure. But yeah. What else for you?
I went to Knott's, the Boysenberry Festival. That was so crowded. I went on the last weekend, and like the lines were as long as the rides, which was quite insane.
No way.
Yeah, have you ever been to a Boysenberry festival?
Oh no, I haven't at all.
Yeah, so Knott's Berry Farm, they have like something called the Boysenberry Festival where they have unique types of foods where they just add like boysenberry jam to everything.
Boysenberry.
So like I ate a boysenberry pizza, boysenberry sushi roll, which was basically the same as a sushi roll.
Wait,
with like very little boysenberry sauce on it, so it tasted the same.
Oh, okay.
So some stuff isn't worth it, but like it's still interesting. Boysenberry chicken sandwich, that was great.
Interesting.
Yeah, but those lines were as long as like some of the lines for rides. So the day I went, oh my god, it was so crowded. It's crazy.
So did they only sell boysenberry in that one day or whatever?
No, it's not it's about 2 months.
Oh, okay, 2 months. Okay.
Spans from like March something to April something.
Oh, okay.
So maybe more like 1.5 months, but yeah, it was. I went like a couple years back. I think it might have been 2018, and that was a much more fun experience because there's a lot less people there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I saw a dude like riding a bike and playing the piano at the same time, and I thought that was pretty epic.
That's
like he was a worker.
Whoa, that's how did that work?
I don't know, but yeah, it was a very interesting sight and it was quite inspirational. I'm like, dude, if that guy can play piano and ride a bike at the same time, I should just like up my game with piano. I don't know. Doesn't really make sense.
That's what kind of bike was it? Was it like a...
Oh, tricycle. So he didn't need a balance or anything. It was
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine a unicycle and he's playing the piano. I'd be like,
bruh. Oh no.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't really think I enjoyed the experience with friends, but at the same time, as far as Knott's goes, like it's not my favorite theme park, I'd say.
I still yet to go to Six Flags, but you know.
You've never been?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, it's pretty great. You just need to ride like two things in my opinion. It's just Tatsu and Full Throttle, and I think those are like the best two rides there.
Okay, what about Goliath? I hear Goliath is something.
I actually might not have ever gone. No, I think I've gone on Goliath once, but it didn't leave like a huge impression on me.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Yeah, I always wanted to do Tatsu because people say it feels like you're flying. So
yeah, it does. It's sort of what inspired like the feeling of flight in my dreams.
Ooh.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it feels the same as me being on Tatsu. So every time I have a flying dream, it's great.
Who knows? How long will that change when the metaverse allows us to virtually fly and then you're going to be like, have a different feeling?
I mean, unless there's like fans everywhere or a levitating device. I've seen them in arcades actually, but yeah. I still think Tatsu has the momentum that can't be generated like just being still, you know?
That's fair. That's fair.
Relatively still.
That's fair. That's so interesting.
Yeah. Any accomplishments this month?
With my health, I think there was a slight accomplishment with me figuring out that it might be stomach ulcers. Because when I started doing those remedies and treatments, I noticed that I started feeling a lot more better. Like I started to feel a lot more
So there's like there's different like treatments for stomach acid reflux and stomach ulcers.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Are there any like any treatments that are similar or are they pretty different?
So certain things like making sure you eat ginger is important for both. But as far as like, for example, one thing that people always recommend for acid reflux would be, what's it called? Apple cider vinegar. If you have a stomach ulcers, it's going to be worse and you're going to feel more pain. Versus if you have acid reflux, it's actually going to feel more better.
So there's even contradictory treatment.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
So that's
good. Yeah, that's good that you found out.
Yeah. That's kind of how I figured it out because I was being told to drink apple cider vinegar, but I was like, why is this hurting even more? Like, this is crazy to me. And then somebody on YouTube, which normally I'm not a big fan. I mean, I've been open-minded now after everything that's been going on for me, but normally I'm not like, I question people's authority on YouTube sometimes. But at the same time, I was like, all right, let me test this out. So this person said, if you're having this, it must be a stomach ulcer. So I'm like, okay, if I have a stomach ulcer, let me test these things. And then as I was testing these things out, like they were telling me to drink a lot of cabbage juice and whatnot.
You're right.
I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit more better, at least for my stomach area. I mean, my chest, it's still feeling pain, but it's not as painful. So I was like, okay. So
that's great news. What's the timeline for stomach ulcers? Like, do they heal after a certain period of time or?
It depends, but generally speaking, on average, it should be, if you're drinking the cabbage juice or going based off the diet, it should be no longer than like 3 weeks.
Wow.
So
okay.
That's depends on the diet, but then it also depends on like how bad and whatever. But on an average level, it should be like 3 weeks, sometimes even shorter than that.
But you've had it for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, but again, I wasn't going on the right diet, so now that I just started.
Gotcha.
So we'll see.
So you recently changed it up, basically.
Yeah. It was like the last week of April. I was like, okay, this is what.
Last week, okay.
So we'll see.
Nice,
in
dude. Good
2
luck.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that things clear up for you.
Yeah.
Because this sounds like, dude, it's been a nightmare for basically almost 3 months now, right?
Yeah, basically. Like, by the 9th, it would be 3 months. So.
Yeah, I wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, as for me, I wasn't as productive as last month, but I found out that my Skillshare class got featured on Skillshare. Like they sent me an email saying that they thought the course was good, and then they featured it, which just means that it was in the front page if you were to look at like tutorials based on video and audio, because it was a microphone class that I made. And I mentioned it last podcast, or I guess this is not a podcast, but I mentioned it the last time we talked, and I found out the news in April. They basically emailed me in April. So, and then later, like few days after that, they said it was also a staff pick, which was really pretty awesome. So I have like a goal, very, very simple goal of reaching 1,000 a month from Skillshare. And that basically got me pretty close. So my average was about 300 something a month before my class became a staff pick. And then now it's about, I mean, there's no average, but last month was, it ranges. So it's about 600 to 750. So if I can make another class like that, I'd essentially reach my goal. And I'll probably make a video on Dreamlit about it. I haven't posted a video on Dreamlit in like 4-5 months now.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. Yeah. I've just been feeling like I need to focus on one thing in terms of like video creation and not scatter myself too much. That's why I haven't really been posting on this channel as well as Dreamlit as much. Well, Dreamlit at all. And then so that's sort of been like what I'm doing now. Not having that pressure of posting every week. Like it was quite freeing when I decided to just stop in December of last year, and things have been pretty good overall, like in terms of my mental health. And not that I mean, I guess I struggled a little bit more previously when I had that schedule of trying to upload all the time. Yeah, I totally burned out and then just stopped doing it. But the whole Skillshare thing has been going well.
That's good.
Yeah. That was a flurry of information. Sorry.
That's I think there's a lot of valuable there. Like as far as, so I'm curious, do you feel like for example, because when you post when you're always constantly posting, you almost feel like you have these habits, right? Like the habits of you got to get something out there. And do you feel like it's at some point, once you've, I don't want to say mastered a habit, but maybe you got whatever utility you got from that there's really no purpose in doing that? Is that kind of a thought process you come in when that happens?
I mean, specifically for Dreamlit, the reason I stopped was because I got tired of making like videos about equipment and audio and microphones. And I was like, also the reception wasn't like very good. I didn't get too many views and whatnot. So I was just like, why am I doing this? So my strategy initially was, just make a whole bunch of videos to the point where I reach a certain income amount. But this advice is so true, but has been oversaid but true. Don't try to make money on YouTube. That should never be the goal on YouTube. So once I just moved my stuff over and started doing for Skillshare, it's like, wow, this is so much easier to earn money.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's sort of what's pushing me to do it. I mean, last time we talked, I was like, this isn't like my passion. This isn't what I prefer to be doing, but I have the skill to do it. And clearly Skillshare thinks so too, since I got a staff pick. And essentially I just need to do the same thing again, even though I don't necessarily like for instance, like yesterday I was scripting stuff for my Premiere course that I'm going to try to release probably in June, because it's a longer course. And I don't think I was like necessarily enjoying it. I was kind of bored by it. But I'm like, I'm just going to power through this and get it done to the best of my ability, even though this isn't necessarily entertaining to me. And then just call it like done forever. like I mentioned last time, unless I discover something groundbreaking in terms of like a method that nobody teaches. But yeah, that's sort of my mentality on this. And I'm hoping after like 2 more classes, I'll reach my goal of 1,000 a month, and then like refocus on something else. Because last month as well, in April, I was just like, yo, I want to up my game with music and piano, not just because of knots, like seeing the piano person on a bicycle, but because I actually feel like that's my passion and I really, really want to go for it, you know?
Okay. That's very important. I like that distinction between passion and just what you're good at. Because I feel like there's always this, it's a constant battle between in life where it's like, you want to do what you have like utility and work in, but at the same time, you also want to do something you enjoy. And there's always that battle between, do you just stay with something you enjoy even though you suck at it? Or do you just do something you're really good at, but you don't really enjoy it? And
yeah,
it's like,
it's a tough like decision. Cause like, you know, if you were to just keep going with the thing that you're good at, or that like, you know, will make you money, you know, you'll eventually make more money.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't suck at piano, luckily. I've played it for over a decade. So music stuff is, I just need to do it more. But it's hard to shift when you're so used to doing a certain thing and then like you want to change it up, you know?
Yeah.
But basically what I'm going to do is replace what I used to do for YouTube with music. So essentially I'm going to try to upload like a cover or an original or an arrangement each week. That's probably not going to happen for a while. I need to like build up to it, especially the skills. But yeah.
Okay. This actually is funny because when you brought that up, this brings me a question. Is the Imagine Blue channel been the only channel that you've done this like the same content for a long time? Because what I've noticed with you specifically, it seems like you're always doing different content. Like it's never like you're always constantly doing the same thing over. So I'm curious.
Yeah, that's exactly why I haven't like grown big on YouTube.
Okay.
Because if I continue doing the same content like consistently, like for instance, Dreamlit, it was mostly self-help stuff and all. I'm pretty sure I would be bigger than that channel would be a lot bigger right now. I mean, it's at 30,000 subs, but at the same time, most of those subs don't necessarily mean anything because especially when you take breaks like what I did. But had I continued, I'm pretty sure I could have at least gotten to 50,000 or something like that, right? But you're right. I am super scatterbrained because I like doing a lot of things that I'm interested in. But I think it was really last month in April where I was just like, yeah, let's just buckle down and do this for music, you know?
Okay.
Like put 80% of my mental capacity and my thoughts into creating music and getting better with piano.
Okay.
Again, I still have to make that transition and it's a little difficult, especially since I'm still trying to make that Skillshare class and whatnot.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, definitely Imagine Blue has been the most consistent in terms of us talking about like movies and TV shows and whatnot. Yeah, I also think it's because you guys, like, I don't have like full power and control. I mean, I could be a tyrant in the channel if I wanted to, but
yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
But it's like, I mean, technically I did try to experiment with different types of content on that channel, if you remember.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's still the same, I guess, niche. It's just formatted differently.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but that's basically the update for on my side in terms of April. I also wrote like 3 articles for the Medium, which is pretty fun. They were about memories, passions, and mistakes, basically. So in a way, I'm still creating like self-improvement content. It's just in a different form, and they're less like advice giving stuff like that, although it somewhat is. It's more like a story, basically. My stories and my experiences, and I basically just talk about what I feel that I learned from them, instead of being like, yeah, this is the way you should do things, which is a lot of self-improvement content out there. And I'm not a fan of that. I used to make content like that, but then at some point I just realized, like, you know, that's quite egotistical and quite short-sighted in the sense that, you know, everyone has different situations and everyone has a lot of variables in their life that might make your solution wrong for them.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it does depend on self-help because I do feel like a lot of it, you know, it's weird because as humans, we're very similar, but not the same, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think there are like core principles that if you follow, they usually are generally going to help. but it's also very important to take in context in the situation, because like what works in one context doesn't work in another. So
exactly,
that's the tough part about it. But other than that, I like the approach you're going, because you're just using what works for your experience. You're just sharing that with people, as opposed to saying something like, this is a one size fits all kind of solution.
Yeah, it's just a different way of delivering it, I suppose. And it's a much more fun way. Like, I really like writing. When I started YouTube, most of it is just scripting, right? And then me doing voiceovers and then me adding on videos. In terms of those three steps right there, writing is probably my favorite out of all three. So creating the video is cool, but it takes a lot of time. And personally, I have really gotten burnt out from like editing a crap ton.
Yeah.
And then number two, doing the voiceover. I do enjoy doing voiceovers as well. Like I like it a lot, but there's, I don't know, something about writing is fun. It's just like releasing your thoughts, you know, that initial thoughts onto paper sort of feeling.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Especially when I'm really into writing a story. At some point you just forget about everything. You're just immersing yourself and you're just expressing.
Yeah.
So I could totally get that. And then
it's sort of like different exercises, or it's different like arts. One is sort of you expressing something that's like not really physically created yet, and then you physically create it. That's like writing. And then the second one is sort of like performing, like a performance. Like voiceovers are essentially just performances.
Yeah.
And also it's still expression, but it's more of a performance, and I like that aspect of it. Then the third one is more like crafting, I suppose, where you're getting a lot of pieces of what you've already done and then like putting it all together and making it like visually appealing.
Yeah.
Just something I noticed.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. I can totally see where you're coming from on that aspect. Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying earlier?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with the idea that with writing, like it's just about bringing, like I understand the idea of being immersed and just putting your stuff out there. So that was basically was my nutshell. And then I was just agreeing with you in terms of with the whole crafting aspect of the process, because it does feel like you're just crafting at that point after you've done the performance and after you've done the when you do the voiceovers and all that. So yeah, that was my take.
But I'll link my Medium articles down below for anyone who's interested in reading them. I actually have very little experience with like education in terms of writing. Like AP 11 was probably the hardest writing class for English. That's high school, junior year. College, I still wrote in college, but yeah, I'll be honest with you, like most of my writing experience comes from scripting YouTube videos, and I feel like I got a lot better with writing and journaling, with writing, just doing those things.
Yeah, I agree with you when it comes to like even script writing. Although I do watch YouTube videos every now and then, a lot of it was like, it's like I came up with my own kind of formula to understand a story, and then from there I just kind of go with that. And it's usually based off like how I view the world, right? Because it's like one thing I've never been a big fan of, like, because in like one thing that you'll teach you with scenes is like a scene needs to have a setup, a conflict, a resolution. My problem with that is like I feel like not every scene has those things. So my way of framing it was like a character usually has a goal or they're doing something. There's sort of an interruption, and then after that interruption, they need to create a new plan or they come up with a resolution based off of the interruption. So that's how I looked at it, and I like that because not every interruption is like a conflict. It's not always like, oh, I hate you, you hate me, let's battle each other. Sometimes it's like, maybe it's a new thing, like, you know, oh, there's this new opportunity, therefore I want to try this new opportunity. So I felt like it was congruent. So
yeah, that's interesting. I feel like these days I have not been writing with much structure. Just like boom, everything out of my head. Like sometimes it's really bad and it's not that great, but like somewhere along the lines, like a story formulates and I'm like, yeah, I actually really like this. And then I just dump the parts that are bad. It's a very like unorganized way of writing, which is kind of like the opposite of what I usually do, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about structure in general. It's just supposed to be a guideline. It's supposed to be a map. It's not it's not like a hard rule. It's just, okay, if you need help, this is what helps you. But if you don't need it, then it's not necessary. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was like a good amount of stuff we talked about for me personally. It stemmed a lot from last month as well. Like for this month, any plans, or I guess like things that you want to be better with?
I guess as far as lessons, I did learn from last month, which can also go through things I want to be better with. One lesson that I learned is what kind of people I want to bring in my life. And I bring this up because like I had a friend, and funny enough, I did talked about them last month, but basically I had a friend who was trying to help push himself.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but eventually he kind of just distanced himself from us, which I was kind of okay with. But then he kind of tried to bring himself back to my life. And part of me was like, dude, I want to hang out with you, but we got to talk about what happened last month, because it's like that hasn't been resolved. And then he just doesn't want to talk about it, and he's just kind of ignoring it. And to me, it's weird because it's like, you want to hang out with me and do something, like he wants me to go to Anime Expo with him, but it's like, how are like, but you're afraid to talk about an issue, and it's like, how are we gonna like, do you not expect me not to talk about, like, we have to talk about it at some point, like it's the elephant in the room. So it's like he's trying to avoid the elephant in the room, and it's just, I don't know, the way he's going about it, it's making me not want to hang out with him, which I think that was his fear, because when I try to talk to him, he was afraid that I don't want to be friends with him anymore. But it's like, I do want to be friends. I just think we should get over it. But he's not letting that process happen. So it's...
Yeah, I feel like some people just need a bit more time, and I guess emotional maturity. You know, just a level of understanding not just your own feelings, but like other people's. And it seems he's not able to look past his own sort of feelings of being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is, and it's
weird. He's not trying to understand your side and like allow this resolution for both of you, you know?
Yeah, and I guess for me it's a little weird because it's like, in my head, I've hanged out with him before, and it's like I feel like we've done things way more uncomfortable for this, so it's like for him to take it this far where it's like he's just afraid just to feel that uncomfortability. It's like, how, like, did you forgot who you were? So it's just hard for me to understand. That's the best way I can describe it. So I guess for me is like understanding that if someone can't understand that, that's not someone I can spend time with. And I'm not trying to be a jerk by doing that. It's just, to me, it's reasonable. It's like, there's no way I can physically hang out with you if we can't really express certain things. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough. Relationships are tough, friendships and everything like that. I have a very simple philosophy, and it's just like, try your best to keep open arms to everyone, understand them, allow them to make mistakes, and still be their friend at the end. You know, I'll always express my side of things, but like if I want to talk about it, I'll tell them. But if they don't want to, then I'll just leave it alone and give them time until maybe one day they do. That's just like my personal method.
I see. I guess for me, it's just like, it's like, I'm more concerned that it's like, for example, if this person's uncomfortable with me talking about this, what happens to the next uncomfortable thing? Like, is it always going to be, because if it wasn't for the context, like if it wasn't for that was the last thing we talked about, and then okay, this is gonna sound weird, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, and I'm just gonna use both of us. Let's just say the last thing I did was like, I accidentally like hit your dog or hurt your dog, right? And then I know this is really personal, but it's like, and then for a while I don't talk to you, I don't speak, we don't like reconcile it, whatever, right? And then out of nowhere, I'm like, hey Scott, do you want to go watch the new Doctor Strange movie? And it's like, bro, the last thing you did was hit my dog. Could we at least get this over with before we do that? It's like, that's where it's like
yeah. Okay. That context helps for sure.
Yeah, that's where it's like
puts things into perspective. Yeah, that's definitely weird for sure. But at that moment he asks, or if that moment you ask me that, I'd be like, are you gonna apologize for hitting my dog?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like,
that's what I'm gonna ask straight away.
Exactly. That's the thing, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. But it's like, he's afraid for us to even have that conversation, which is like, how do I hang out with you if not having that conversation?
Yeah, just tell him like, yo, we got to have this conversation before we can hang out.
That's what I'm basically saying. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm trying to tell him. And it's just
gotcha.
For me, it's like, if he doesn't do that, we can't. That's the way I'm looking at it, as in like, if he's not okay with that, then there's no way we can hang. That's just the...
For sure. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
So yeah,
that's a very interesting situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's the best way I could describe it. It's like, you did this. We got to talk about it at some point.
It helped me understand it.
But
last month you lost a friend. I feel like I gained a friend like this month.
Really?
Yeah. To give context, I guess, I don't really talk to people like super often. Like I don't talk to anyone on a like everyday basis, basically. Like I talk to like different people on different days. I know a lot of people, like my cousins, have like best friends that they talk to like every single day. And I used to have that as well. But you know, series of events, sometimes people get busy and whatnot. So for me, like I sort of talk to someone like almost every day, I'd say, in April, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty nice to meet someone that you flow with and have good conversations with, even if it's just like through text or messages. So I was happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Do I know this person or?
No, you don't.
Okay, I see.
Otherwise, we'd already be like friends, right?
Okay, that's fair. I guess I would assume it was like somebody I've seen before, and then like you've made more of a stronger bond from that person. I guess that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, I've made more than one friend like in the past few months, it's nice. It's cool.
Okay.
And making friends is pretty hard when you're out of school. So
yeah, it is.
Like we sound old probably, but that's just the way it is sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Especially, or if you're not in a job that's like where you have to meet new people constantly. So that's another thing about that. But speaking about that, one thing I'm looking forward to is because I know funny enough, I met somebody when I was like going out at a time that they like to use their Instagram to network with people. And I'm trying to understand their brain on how I can use my Instagram to like network with people that I want to work with in terms of film and whatnot. So that's something that I'm looking forward to learning.
I'm looking forward to you learning it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You teach me a thing or two about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, I've never, again, social media, I've always had my grievances with social media, but I've also saw there's utility in it. So if someone can teach me a utility in it, that's even more of a reason for me to like benefit from it, you know?
Yeah. Social media is something that I've always sort of not really done anything with. Like, I guess I don't really consider YouTube a social media. YouTube's just like a platform where you upload videos.
Yeah.
It can be, I guess, if you turn it into one, but in terms of other social, like actual social media, like IG and Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, I always have like a hard time finding the desire to post. But more recently, like this past few months, I've been posting more on IG and just posting like random photos I take at events, and it's been pretty fun. It's just something that it's like, I feel like the more I'm going without doing any YouTube stuff, the more I'm able to just express myself without expecting views.
Oh,
if that makes any sense. It's just like, I want to post this because I want to post this, and that's it.
That's fair.
You know? Versus like constantly making videos that are for the purpose of getting views. It's more like I'm just existing and doing things I like, and it's been pretty nice.
Yeah, that's how it should be to some degree, where it's like there's a middle ground where it's like you just do what you enjoy and you meet the people who enjoy it as well, as opposed to trying to always pander towards a certain party. So, but
I totally get why people do, because the incentive and the incentive is there, and also like if you get rewarded for it, then you want to continue doing that. Like, yeah. For instance, like our Young Justice videos on Imagine Blue, like we're getting a good amount of views in terms of like our usual amount. So like to us, like what, like 2,000, 3,000 was some of our previous amount of views. That's like a good amount there.
Although our recent one isn't as big.
But it's only like 700 about. But it doesn't matter. It still motivates us to keep doing it. Basically.
So
I totally get it. I'm not like I don't want to I don't want to make it sound like we're trying to disparage people who do it for those reasons.
Yeah, you know? that's another thing.
Because I did that for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, definitely not against that. As well as like a lot of people who are bigger YouTubers, that's how they make money. So at some point, it's like if this is your income, it's very important that you're doing things as well. I guess to me, it's like having that mixed balance. Because even with Young Justice, it's still something I enjoy. So it's like, for me, that's where the rewarding comes in. It's like I'm doing something that I enjoy and I'm getting views for it. As opposed if I didn't enjoy talking about whatsoever, it'd be kind of like, I hope I better get views for this because I don't want to do this. So
yeah.
But as far as what I want to do better, or what I'm looking forward to for this month is, I mean, I mentioned the Instagram thing. The next thing would probably be obviously healing better. I want to feel better. And then a job, since the only job right now is the photo booth. So I want to go back to looking for jobs, which the main reason why was just for my health. But now that I'm healing a little bit better, I can finally take that risk and not be worried about, oh, what if I'm working and then something happens? So that's my goals.
Yeah, as far as this month, I was not as good as with like kinetic stuff, with training, like working out, exercise stuff, whatever you want to call it. That stuff was pretty bad in April. Like I wasn't as consistent, and I just had a lot of off days where I wasn't feeling up for it. So this month I'm gonna really get back on that, and it's been a good start so far. Like my training program I'm changing it up quite a bit. I'm sort of doing what I used to do, but combining it with the new stuff as well. So it's like a hybrid. I'll elaborate a bit more if it's successful. Otherwise, I don't want to describe a process that sucks.
It's funny.
But yeah, I'll see what happens this month. I am kind of sore from yesterday's stuff, so yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, a lot more piano practice as usual and music stuff. I've been working on like a collab with a friend for a very long time now, so I'm hoping that we can release it this month as well. It's for music.
Okay.
And I'll probably also make another article this month. And it's still a lot of things that I'm doing at once, but I feel like it's a good pace right now, and I'll see what happens.
Okay.
Well, if you guys enjoyed this little discussion right here, basically reflecting on the previous month, go ahead and reflect on your month down below in the comments and give the video a like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.